We are now joined by Louie Vaccher. Wildcat Report covers Northwestern of the Big Ten. We mentioned earlier with Mitch Sherman, the Athletic on Nebraska. That's the game. Basically a very light schedule this weekend, but that game is late morning from Dublin, Ireland. Louie, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. With Paul Craig, and I'm David Smoak. So Northwestern had a rocky year last year. There's no question. They got beat up a lot. What makes you think, or do they think they're any better?
Well, yeah, I think they think they're better. I think they're going to be better on offense, defense. I'd throw special teams in there too. The question is, how many more wins will that equate to? And what makes me think they can do it is, they did it 2 years ago, right? So if you look at, they've been riding a roller coaster here. In 2018, they won the Big Ten West. 2019, they went 3-9 and finished last in the Big Ten West. 2020, they win the Big Ten West. Last year, they go 3-9 and finish last. So they've been worst to first, first to worst, whatever you want to call it, like up and down these last four years. So it's really nothing new for them. I think, like I said, I think this. I don't foresee them, winning the West or anything this year. But I think it's a team that if things break right for them, maybe they can get to a bowl game this year. I think that would be considered a successful season.
What do you think about this game on Saturday with a Nebraska team that really needs to repeat what they did against Northwestern last year to start out the year, and this being so far away in Dublin? Is that an equalizer? How do you see it shaking out?
Yeah, I think it's an intriguing game, that's for sure. The fact that the travel, and it being in Ireland and all those time zones, who knows what effect that's going to have. That's to be determined. It's tough to say. But Northwestern definitely has a score to settle. I think, they got humiliated last year in Lincoln. They got beat 56-7. Nebraska ran for 427 yards, and it felt like 4,027 yards. I mean, they really ripped through them. So I think that's certainly motivating for them. And, you look at Nebraska too, though. They got plenty of question marks too. Scott Frost's job is certainly on the line. They got a new offensive coordinator. They got a new quarterback. They've got all these new assistant coaches and transfers and things like that. So they've got a lot of things they're trying to pull together too. So it's an intriguing game. I mean, it's a matchup between two teams that went 3-9 last year. So it's not exactly a marquee game, but it certainly has some intriguing storylines and question marks going into it.
Louie, how do you see the quarterback position playing out for Northwestern early on?
Yeah, well, that's the big question here is who's going to play quarterback. Pat Fitzgerald had his press conference today. He declined to name the starter. So the two guys are Ryan Holinsky, who started 5 games last year, and, he was kind of up and down. And then there's the redshirt freshman, Brendan Sullivan, hasn't taken a snap at the college level. He's the more athletic guy that can make plays with his feet. Ryan Holinsky is the guy with the stronger arm, and he's more of the classic drop back kind of guy. If I had to bet on one or the other, I'd take Holinsky just because he's been in the system. He's taken snaps in a college game. He's played quite a bit of football, where Sullivan has yet to take a snap. So, I don't know that for sure. Nobody knows it for sure. My money would probably be on Holinsky, but I wouldn't be surprised if, Sullivan's the guy that they think is their future. We'll have to see, because that's offensive coordinator Mike Bajakian typically favors those dual threat kind of guys, and that's something that Sullivan brings to the table.
I was looking at Holinsky because of the interview, getting ready to ask you questions, and he's okay throwing the football. Again, they weren't very good, neither was Nebraska, but I noticed he doesn't run. He's not a dual threat type of guy. Do they have somebody who's more of someone who could make things happen when all hell breaks loose?
Yeah, there's no question. He is the classic drop back guy. Now he has, practices are closed. They've had one open practice this fall camp, so we don't see anything. But he has lost some weight, and that's something I know he's been working on, is his mobility and his running ability. But Brendan Sullivan, the guy that he's been in a battle with throughout fall camp, he's the more dual threat guy. And then they also have this true freshman that could come in. He's a very athletic guy that, maybe they throw a package or two in for him as well. They've used running back Cam Porter has come in as a Wildcat quarterback at times. So they have plenty of options if they want to add that element to the game. But you're absolutely right. Holinsky is more of your drop back guy, and he's not going to make a lot of plays on the run, that's for sure.
So you mentioned, obviously, this is not like any kind of a marquee game, but it is like the start of the college football season. Is that kind of neat to be a part of, even though from afar?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, how often is Northwestern ever kind of the center of focus of the college football world? It doesn't happen too often. They've got a unique opportunity, and it's in Ireland. Like, I'm going over to cover the game, and my wife and I are going to turn it into a vacation. So we're going to spend some time there and everything. I don't know if you've seen pictures. The stadium looks really cool. That should be kind of a neat experience. So I think the fan base is excited. The players are excited. And, I think it's a little bit build Northwestern's brand a little bit. If you want to watch college football, that's the game you're going to be watching this weekend, because it's the only Power 5 game being shown. So people will watch it.
We have discussed here, because we cover Baylor quite a bit and college football in general, but Dave Aranda appears to be a really, really perfect fit for Baylor. He's only 2 years into it, year 3 this year. Pat Fitzgerald seems to be that same type of fit for Northwestern. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Pat Fitzgerald, I tell people he's not only the face of the program, I think he's kind of the face of the university. It's his alma mater. He went to school there. He's one of the greatest players in Northwestern history. He grew up in the Chicago area. And he really believes in what Northwestern does. They have higher academic standards than everybody. Not everybody can get into to school and everything like that. And, Fitz embraces that. And it's something he really kind of looks at his role as developing not only football players, but young men. That's something that he really believes in. And, he's signed through 2030 now. He said, in public that he's a Wildcat for life. How long he wants to go before he retires, or will he maybe, be lured by the NFL later in his career? That's all a possibility. He's got, I'll tell you though, next year, or class of 2023. So yeah, it'll be next fall. His oldest son will be a walk-on for the Cats. So he's got 3 of those. I imagine that, he'll want to coach all 3 of them. So that's another thing that may be keeping him there. But yeah, he's a perfect fit for Northwestern, and I don't think he's going anywhere, and I don't think fans want him to go anywhere.
Ara Parsegian, who eventually was prior to Notre Dame, who made the great run at Notre Dame. Dennis Green ended up having a heck of a career, Stanford in the NFL. Gary Barnett, of course, I thought was one of the greatest rebuilds ever when he arrived at Northwestern, took him to a Rose Bowl. And then Pat Fitzgerald, 16 years. And to put this in perspective, he's the second coach to win a bowl game, and it was 74 years in between, 64 years in between. The first ever bowl game Northwestern won, and the one he's won 5 and 5 in the 10 bowl games, has done a heck of a job. Thank you very much, Louie. We appreciate your time, and good luck on your trip and back, and enjoying a little bit of downtime when you're there as well.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Louie Vaccher, Wildcat Report, covers Northwestern. Coming up next, McMurray